yesterday we've installed some lap siding, some board and batten. Just a real quick overview, if you don't mind, Daniel, the fastening methodology on our board and batten panels, where well, you always explain it better than I do. I always say make sure the fastener is really tight so nothing can move.
Yeah, right. No. So it does have polymers in it. So we eliminate or reduce some of the expansion and contraction. It's not totally eliminated. So you do have some, but it's less than our other products that we're up against here. So what's nice about that is, as you can see, the nail hem on the board and batten is very small. That product there is almost 3/8 of an inch thick. With that, what we tell everybody is you net it at the bottom, whatever you're trying to target your sight line at the bottom with. And in this case, they did a pocketed trim. And then everything you want to expand up. So you leave your expansion gap up at the top. By doing that, you put your fastener in at the top of the slot.
Got it.
Keep it loose, like a 1/32 loose, so it can float. It's a floating system. We updated our trim package a little bit over a year ago. But then also another thing that came up was, when are you guys going to have an inside one-piece inside corner? Now, you could achieve it with a J, obviously, but then you're manipulating two or
that connection bit there.
So we came up with the new one-piece inside corner now.
I love it. And the inside corner, do we let that float or do we fasten that tight?
All your trim fasten tight.
All of our trim pieces
all
fasten
the trim
tight.
fasten tight. Now there's a couple of options.
Okay.
So, as you're doing this, as far as fastening, you use a nail hem, or you can use Cortex fastening system. So Everlast now has the Cortex fastening system, which they're going to demonstrate here with this trim piece. So what they did here, and if we can show you a piece here, our trims all come with a nail hem. And with that nail hem, if you want to, you could rip that nail hem off. Now you can set this in there and you can attach it with your Cortex fastening.
Awesome.
And all the plugs for your Cortex fasteners are made from our product. So it's the same product, it's the same cap stock with the same wood grain.
Awesome. So the guys are going to put some lap siding on next. There's a starter strip, I see that. The fastening for the lap siding is a little bit different than it is for the board and batten, but this is because it's horizontal. So there's another innovation that is really, I think it's pretty unique to what you guys create. When we have long spans, some manufacturers will have you put a piece of black metal behind things. Other people want you to caulk that joint or leave things open. But you are going to have us butt that seam tight. You can see the guys are putting it on right now where they've got a connection. They've butted that nice and tight. And they're going to use a bracket.
What we call the seam bracket.
I brought you one so you could show folks what it looks like.
So the seam bracket is basically the screws are all already in place. So you're not having to fumble around with finding screws. They're in place. They're in there with a little grommet. So that grommet is nothing but to hold that screw in place till you install it.
It's not a weatherproofing thing or anything.
And these are all stainless. It will not corrode. It's made for the Costo. So you're good there. Once they get it up there and they get the butt joint tight, they're going to drive these tight. You don't need to over-tighten them, but snug them up good. And then that will keep that seam together. And then that system is a floating system, so that whole system now will float as one piece. So when you're butting two 12-footers or two 16-footers, now you're tying them together. You're controlling that seam, keeping it together, and the whole panel is floating.
I really think that's slick. It's aesthetically it's sharp, but long term, like having to deal with something that's opened up or cracked or trying to caulk something, I think this is a much more elegant solution. I think we're going to move on to show some casing. We'll let the guys set that piece up there, and it'll just sit by itself. We don't need to mess with it.
Yep.
And we're going to go look at your casing, your trims. Now these are solid, so we're going to be installing them with those Cortex fasteners. We're going to be installing them tight to the substrate. And we've got more flexibility now that they're solid to do some more creative things.
The whole thing about expansion and contraction and heat, I think that's a good thing to talk about.
Sure.
So with a thicker panel, and like I said, the lap is almost a 1/4 inch, the board and batten is almost 3/8. Heat soak is what is critical.
You've talked
It's
about
not
the
just the
thickness of
surface.
material.
It's got to heat soak through the part before you even see the maximum movement that it could even potentially have. So as you get thicker, obviously that's going to take a lot longer to get there. So that's why on these products, if you fasten it properly every 16 inches or whatever, it's going to control that from moving, and you won't have an issue with this. On the siding, because it's thinner, that heat soak takes about an hour versus this would take hours. So that's why, like on this roof, we try to tell people, and it's in our instruction, get it up off that roof a little bit, especially if it's a metal roof.
Sure.
So 1 inch to 4 inches off of that, depending on where you're at, your climate, your temperature ranges. You want to kind of keep that up off of there. Let that breathe a little bit and get it off that hot roof a little bit.
And to emphasize, that's not about moisture.
No.
That's about heat.
It's just heat.
Right.
Yep. Now you can take and dado or rabbet this out like you did here.
Yep.
This way, you're maintaining your pocket all the way up in here, so now your siding goes in there just like it should, and you still are pocketing it to get it in there to hide your expansion contraction area. And before you couldn't do that.
So we're still able to hide our cut ends, but we have the visual appearance of a solid, like what would have been traditionally a solid wood.
Yep.
And then of course the fastening that just disappears. And this is going to look good in 50 years. It's going to look just like this.
And yeah, and we back this with a lifetime warranty on color hold and manufacturing. You know.
All right. So when everyone asks, what's it like to cut the product?
So
Like,
cutting a product,
do we need special blades?
you don't need
Do we
special
need-
tools. You use woodworking tools and saw blades. The blade we recommend 60 tooth or higher.
Okay.
I mean
It's pretty clean. Yeah. That's pretty smooth. That is a really, really beautifully crisp edge, which every woodworker wants to have material that
and you
is
can see even at the
clean and
cap
true.
stock, it's clean.
Yeah,
There's
it
no
is.
chips.
There's no chipping on that at all.
You got a knife?
I have a knife.
All right, bring me that knife.
There you go.
So, what you can do, say you have a piece of that lap siding. We did this one once already, so the hem's gone. But if you want, if you're up on the top and you need to score this down because you're coming up into a termination point or whatever, if you take and do kind of a couple slices with a razor knife along the wood grain, and I'll show you here. I usually like to use the three pass rule. So 1, don't cut your finger off. 2,
At least not on our stage, please.
there you go, sir. So if you score it, you can go like this. And you got a nice crisp edge and a clean look.
I like it. So in addition to the inside corner, the solid material over here, I want to make sure that we don't finish without showing them the outside corner, because I think it's a good complement to the inside corner. And I also want to add, because your inside corner is a little different. It's not just a 90-degree inside corner. You've got
Well, the way the
the
siding
siding
goes
is
in
at
does.
90 degrees, but
right.
the corner reveal looks very different.
Yeah. So it's a little different. We gave it a little bit of a different look.
I
But
think
it
that-
gives it a nice finish.
Yeah, that
and you don't
45
have
is
to
really
play
pretty.
around with it now. You get it up there, set it, tighten it up, and you're ready to roll.
It's a beautiful look. All right, let's take a quick peek at your outside corner over here. Similar question, this one, we're gonna go through either the meat of the material or through the nailing fin.
Yeah, so what's nice is we have the 5.5 inch and a 3.5 inch outside corner.
And people should, we should make sure that we emphasize, this isn't like vinyl siding.
No.
This is a composite PVC siding. And when we talk about resilience, we talk about its ability to weather the weather.
Yes.
Right? We think about wind, we think about sticks flying, hailstones flying. The other day you had a baseball out here, which you whipped at that wall pretty hard. There's no evidence of any marring. It didn't crack.
So, 2, our wind load, so we are Florida building approved, certified. So we can get up to close to 200 mile an hour winds. So typically a lot more things have left the building at that wind speed. So yeah, we hit that building code, and then impact. That's part of the performance of the product, and the makeup of the product is that we can get that impact as well. I don't know.
Oh, we have a baseball. All right, let's see it.
All right.
Try not to hit the camera, people.
Don't the ricochet. So what we're gonna it is preseason, isn't it? All right. So well,
and there's nothing there.
so
That's
you're not going to crack it. So if the kids are out playing ball in the backyard, you're not going to have a problem with the impact part of it.
Awesome.
And again, that's performance of that 100% acrylic cap with the composite substrate.